Hello everyone and welcome back to Beyond the Veil Background Information. We're doing a character profile today and I'm talking about my reciprocity characters, which you can read their story on Wattpad at the moment for free, although the censored version is the one that's free. The uncensored version is the one that's on Patreon. If you hear any jangling or bouncing or crashing in the background, that's the new kitten in the household called Storm, so I apologise for that in advance. But as always, we'll start with a quote from one of the stories they're in. Then I'll talk about the basic idea for creating them, and then I'll give you a history, well, a character profile. Now, reciprocity, like with Viper Clan profiles, they actually have a picture already drawn and a sort of fuller. I don't know if it's a fuller profile, but they already have a profile up, so it's just nice to do the bit explain about how I came up with these characters on these ones, but I hope you'll be intrigued by them. And today we're talking about Sorin Perdido. So, look, guys, I've gotten to the point where my ego is so big it can't be bruised by their stupidity. Now, Rufio's in the know, and I don't have to worry about them hurting him. It's time I show some of my reality to them all. A quote from Reciprocity. So I have a real fondness for creating some very bitchy queens. And when I mean queens, I mean the camp divas where gender isn't really as important as their sense of ego, humour, ability to throw shade, let alone rip up someone else's ego. Oh well, that's what Sorin is. He was originally just supposed to be the catty contrasting brother that has all the potential to go evil in that whole twins trope. But instead I ended up finding that Sorin was in fact the more frustrated and wounded of the pair. I ended up giving him questions on his gender because their Kitsune blood means it can alter. And as I chose an Enfield for his creature, I ended up thinking he probably shares the most with Vix. I will say, for the time being with this profile, though through most of the story, Sorin is working out their issues and so does not choose alternate pronouns to him, his, so I won't for now. Also, Soren is actually someone who's more autosexual in nature. This means he finds himself attracted and seeks out those that share characteristics or traits he likes about himself because it's easier to relate to. This can make him a narcissist, and he does get a lot of slack about his obscure discussions regarding sexuality and relationships, often because he'd rather his brother comprehend him as asexual than try to explain what he really likes. But this is probably why he is so close with Akos, who is very egotistical, Altair, who's very vulnerable, although a negative trait to Sorin, he does empathise with Altair quite a bit, and Ilbas, who is family orientated but is determined in their goals. Hence, there's a huge question on which of these three in particular is Sorin actually dating, or is it all three? So, name Sorin Perdido, position Flying Corcadere, story featured in Reciprocity, role twin of the protagonist, gender assigned male at birth, have been showing signs and desires to transition. Description: dyed blonde hair, light olive skin, hazel eyes that are almost yellow, slicked back hair that's past his ears, 5'11", broad chested but built neat like a dancer, sharper jawline, and a generally more arrogant look compared to his brother. Round the veil, abilities turns into an Enfield, a sort of half eagle, half fox, but a bit of greyhound, a bit of wolf that can not only fly but is said to have the ability to protect their kin to ensure proper burial as well as respect. But it's useful for the fox characteristics. Master himself, personality, vain, perfectionist, overprotective, cunning, and not the sort to let anything go easily. Relations: son of Dr. Vix Perdido, an unknown father, presumed a former gladiator and member of the failed brotherhood. Pseudo-son of Hernando Miranda, foster son of Beth and Hank Anders, elder twin of Rufio, adopted grandson of Dr. Ken Matthews, and student nephew of Imanu Cole. History: born the eldest of the twins and raised happily by his mother with his brother and their pseudo-father. They were moved around a lot, and Sorin has more memories that have built up over time. He was able to remember an incident in his youth where he witnessed his pseudo-father and another woman, only for that woman to be present at the moment they were taken away from Vix. Sorin remembering screaming and fighting not to be taken away by the military forcibly taking them away and brutalising Vix. He then has several huge gaps up to the moments when with the Anders, where his perfectionism would be praised, but any time he acted out or refused something, they would shift it towards Rufio to share the punishment, guaranteeing that Sorin would obey. He was quick to use his intelligence to build a barrier between them and start comparing the debated histories of what happened to them. He was happiest when meeting their mother and knowing they were alive, but remained stoic out of fear that the memories would indicate violence should he not behave as they wanted him to. Upon graduating high school, he entered the university in the hopes of joining the Air Force, but his abilities as an Enfield are debated greatly compared to the other species, and he is feeling undermined, but secretly is trying to gather as much data on what actually happened through the Civil War, but is aware that there are serious consequences for it. He is also great friends with the family of the Flying Corps that were orphaned by the Civil War and part of the failed Brotherhood, but now look up to him. This includes one member he has very strong feelings for. Final comments. I thought Enfield was just a suitable sort of monster for a kitsune to produce, and well, it was unique and unusual enough to sort of work for Sorin with all its attributes. So I love writing Sorin, especially when he's having a conversation with Rufio, because they bounce off each other so well, and like brothers can be worse. Like sisters can be very catty and bitchy with each other. I know I have several, but brothers can, when they're together, they can be pretty damn violent with each other, but they can also be just as catty and vicious. And certainly, Sorin is the vicious one, and Rufio is sort of the more dumb one, I suppose, in many ways, especially if compared besides Sorin. But it's just they're so funny together, and I really, really enjoy writing them. So I hope you enjoyed listening to them. Thank you.